Aloha. Happy Easter. Got a minute? You know, I was just thinking about a little event that took place back in 1969. I was just a little tyke. Our family of six were living as missionaries in the beautiful tropical island of Singapore. But 1969, there was a very historical event that took place. And I can still remember the six of us just huddled around this tiny little television screen. And we were watching for the very first time that electrifying moment when a human foot touched the surface of the moon for the very first time. I mean, please, this was something so amazing. But we weren't the only ones that were excited, because Richard Nixon, who was the president of the United States at that time, was basking in the glow of this accomplishment. And he uttered this sentence. This is what the president said, Nixon. He said, "This is the greatest day since creation." That's what he said. So Richard Nixon declares, this is the greatest day since creation. Well, there was a well-known pastor that heard him make that statement. So the pastor sat down, jotted out a brief little letter. He said, "Dear Mr. President, perhaps you should consider a couple of other great days since creation, like Christmas, the day that Jesus was born, Easter, the day that Jesus was raised." I mean, think about this for just a moment. I mean, the resurrection is the linchpin of Christianity. I mean, this is the ultimate proof that Jesus is the unique Son of God. This is the proof that he is who he claims to be. You remember the story well. In fact, my Bible is open to the Gospel of Mark chapter 16. We don't need to read it because you remember it. The two Marys, remember? Early on the first day of the week, they're slipping through the empty streets of Jerusalem, there to the outskirts, to the garden tomb. And as they slide in, it's dark. And as their eyes adjust, they see someone sitting there. And when that someone speaks, this angelic voice declares, "Jesus is not here. He is risen." He is risen. You see, I would suggest to you that there has never been three more impactful, profound words in the history of humankind than those three short, simple words. He is risen. I mean, think about it. So 2 millennia later, here we are, and those three words still echo and re-echo off of your lips and mine and millions of others. He is risen. I mean, the poignant significance of that Easter greeting. I mean, somebody think about this for just a moment. Because you see, out of all the crosses that were ever raised in Palestine, and there were literally thousands of crucifixions, there is only one that we remember, only one that stands out, only one that has any significance to your life and mine. And of all of the rock-cut caves that were used as graves back in the days of Jesus, there's only one that stands out. There's only one that we remember. There's only one that has any significance to your life and mine. Because you see, because of the resurrection, there is hope beyond the grave. The grave is not the end. That's the reason why the Apostle Paul comes along and he declares, he says, "Listen, I want to know Christ. I want to know the power of his resurrection." Kind of reminds me of the story of a little boy. He's trying to pick out a puppy. So in this little box, 7 or 8 puppies, and he gets to choose a puppy. He's having a tough time, but he does notice that only one puppy is wagging his tail. I mean, that tail is going back and forth like crazy, and he notices. So he points at that puppy and he says, "I want the one with the happy ending." I want the one with the happy ending. See, it's the reason why we sing this little chorus. You remember the words? He is Lord, he is Lord. He is risen from the grave, and he is Lord. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. You see, my friends, it matters not. In life or death, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that the tomb is empty. 3 words. He is risen. And so I would just appeal to you today. to allow those three words to just rest on your heart. He is risen. And to resound from your lips, he is risen. And because he is risen, you and I have the assurance of a very happy ending. Aloha.